The fight against racial injustice has roots on every street corner of the U.S. For Jesus Salas, it started in America's farm fields.
In the early 50s, and we joined, all six of us, all five brothers and I, joined my dad, and for the next 10 years, we're migrant workers.
As a third-generation migrant worker, he traveled from his home in Texas to the Great Lakes region, working the soil. But in 1959, after attending 3 different high schools in just 1 year, his family made Watoma, Wisconsin, their permanent home.
So my dad said, no, this has got to stop. You'll never get an education that way. You'll never stop being a migrant worker unless I get you situated in a place where you can go to school all year round.
And that's what Salas did. He graduated from high school. Then, while attending the University of Oshkosh, he spent his summers doing educational programs for youth migrant workers.
Families started complaining to me about their wages, about people being injured, about overcrowded conditions, and that's when, in 1966, I said, we got to do something about those conditions.
He knew something had to be done. So he looked to the West at the leadership of Cesar Chavez in the United Farm Workers Movement.
So I called Cesar Chavez up, and I didn't know him from Adam. And I says, hey, my name is Jesus Salas. We wanna do what you're doing. We wanna protest the working and living conditions.
Well, Salas focused on bettering the lives of migrant workers out of this old orphanage in Milwaukee. The city's racial inequalities, entrenched in segregation, were boiling over, just blocks away. On August 13, 1968, Salas says for the first time, the city's Hispanic and African American communities united, fighting for fair hiring in the Allen Bradley protests.
Being in a picket line with these kids that had been marching for 200 days was an experience that those of us who had been marching and conducting the Great Boycott for the last 3 years had never experienced before. We had never experienced direct action.
What happened on these Milwaukee streets decades ago has paved the way for more activism, organization, and better resources in the Hispanic community.
At that time, the United Community Center is born, the health services, the so-called 16th Street Clinic is born, Journey House is born around that time. So you can go anywhere in the United States and you won't see the network of services that have grown, all that grew out of the activism and the move for self-determination.
Salas went on to be the Hispanic director of UMOS, United Migrant Worker Opportunity Services. He taught at Milwaukee Area Technical College and served on the University of Wisconsin System's Board of Regents. The migrant population and the challenges Latinos face has evolved. Salas says the work is never done, but he's proud of the role he's played in getting the community to where it is today.
You can go anywhere in the United States and you won't see the network of services that have grown, all that grew out of the activism and the move for self-determination of Latinos back in the late 60s, early 70s.
With this small glimpse into Wisconsin's hidden history, I'm Brittany Folgers.